All right, welcome back. We are going to do another edition of, well, let's just pick a random number and look in Ramesh's book. So we're going to use an auto number generator. We are going to look inside maintenance and reliability best practices, whatever that page number is, and give you today's tip of the day. So let's go take a look at our random number generator, see what we get. La, 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 la. And away we go. And the lucky winner is 676. All right, we're going to remove that choice. Well, no, we're not, because I'm not on the right screen to do that. Always a back and forth when you only got one screen sitting here. All right, so 676. Let's hope we didn't do that one last time, because I didn't write down all those numbers. 676. It's way back there. Whoa, 676 is, let's see, we're talking about risk mitigation. So let's see, we talk about the ACAT approach, avoiding risk, controlling it, accepting it, or transferring it. All right, so risk mitigation. Well, that's our entire role as maintenance, is risk mitigation. Our job is risk mitigation. So the same way we build a maintenance strategy through the ability to either engineer out something or assess its condition, or then do some time-based intervention. The risk mitigation strategies are very similar. The first thing is there a way to eliminate the risk? In the ACAT approach, that's exactly what that means, to actively avoid the risk. Is there a way to not have the risk at all? The second piece in the ACAT approach is to control the risk. And so what pieces can be put into place that will allow you to manage the risk? And in some cases, they can be engineered solutions, either through some level of redundancy, right? Just adding redundancy does not eliminate risk, because two assets, even at 99.9% reliability right next to each other in parallel, still doesn't give you 100. So controlling risk includes redundancy. And so we put in either engineering mechanisms to control risk, or in some cases, we've got strategies and plans on how to actively manage the risk when it takes place. Fire suppression system is managing risk. It doesn't stop the risk of a fire, it manages the outcomes of that. And then there's accept the risk. So if the risk is of a tolerable level, then of course you can accept it. If you've done the control piece and you have the ability to accept the remaining risk, then you're at the acceptance level. And then the last piece is to transfer, to give the risk to someone else. You outsource certain things to give off risk. In addition, transferring risk can be moving manufacturing of a product from one plant into another, right? Because the risk in one plant may be greater than the risk of producing that product in a different plant. So we're transferring the risk to a more acceptable level by manufacturing it someplace else. In general, maintenance is a risk mitigation approach. We are tasked with identifying and communicating risk. We convey risk. Oftentimes, maintenance is responsible for things like the backlog and scheduling work, and and in my opinion, you're just not. That's operations' job. Operations owns the risk. It's their asset. Our job as maintenance is to convey the risk. The way I like to kind of put that into an analogy is the roofer doesn't show up to your house and start ripping shingles off because they noticed you needed a new roof from the street. They may knock on the door and say, hey, I noticed that your asphalt's really worn away and there's now pops and your gutters are falling down. I think it's time for a new roof. That's conveyance of risk. You as the asset owner decide whether or not you're going to accept that level of risk or take some action. And we are in maintenance the same way. We can give a backlog. Here's all the defects that exist in the plant. Here's what the backlog looks like. Here's the ready backlog. We can do all this work. By the way, I really think you need to get this done, because if not, we could have a problem at line one. Operations ultimately decides, are we going to give you the asset or not give you the asset? So maintenance owns conveyance of risk. So risk understanding and how to manage risk is a really big part of being a maintenance manager.